once Pluto's officially back in Aquarius and, like, never to dip back again, it's just going to be, like, one ego death after the other. Mm-hmm. Like, it's almost like kind of how that degree, it's like relentless. Like, it just, you can't get away from it.
Right, you can't escape until you pretty much surrender, is what it's saying. It's like,
you can't escape.
You can walk around the boulders, you can ignore it, you can do, you know what I mean? Like, but it's inevitable that this has to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I agree, and I definitely feel like with the last couple months of the summer, since the solstice, you know, it's been a lot of purging, I feel, for people, a lot of clearing.
Crazy.
And it would line up with this new moon kind of hinting at embodiment, you know, embodying the light, getting out of the lower Leo energy, because there's a higher expression to everything, but obviously Leo is the most symbolic of where the collective consciousness is at.
Yes.
So, all of this happening in Leo, we have obviously, you know, all the events that just listed with all the planets, you know, something big.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel it's the start of the embodiment, and we've just been, like, the Schumann has been, like, every other day it's been spiking.
Totally whited out.
So.
And we've had so many solar flares now again. Like, it's ramping up.
Because it's like, that's kind of how it was when we were going into the solstice.
Yes.
And now we're going into 8/8, and, you know, we've talked about it for a while, like, about how the 8/8 portal does open on the solstice. We feel it for all of July up until it happens. And I feel like it's, you know, like that was the first phase, which was like the clearing out, the things, and that's why, you know, we joke about psychosis summer, but it's like that's...
But we're not.
But we're not, because like, if you don't clear out the shit, then it overtakes you.
Yeah.
And you can't handle it, and you're overloaded, and obviously we have been getting a lot of upgrades going into this entire summer, and it's, you know, people people probably maybe thought it was going to calm down, and then it's like, day at a time, started popping off again, so there's some higher plan, and I feel like we're getting ready to reach some level of higher embodiment for those that are ready.
I feel so, because as I was feeling into it, I was like, okay, so Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, right? So, in essence, Capricorn carries a lot of, like, karmic energy with it. You know, it's, like, about things you haven't mastered, lessons you haven't learned, right? So I'm like, what if the whole 16 years of Pluto and Capricorn was giving us, which would line up with Mom and the way she trained us on mission, which was, if you don't fucking get this, you're gonna, like, suffer later. Like, if you do not learn these lessons, if you do not embody, if you do not get this, you're going to have a hard time down the line. And I'm like, okay, so maybe that was literally and why Mom spent pretty much the entire Pluto and Capricorn transit talking about the fucking ego. Like, because it was our opportunity to, like, transform our karma, to learn the lessons we didn't learn, to, like, go through those initiations. And so it's like, now with Pluto going back for 6 weeks, for me, I'm just, like, honestly hoping that this is the final, like, if you did not learn the lesson, you're gonna get it. Because we just don't have time for this shit anymore. Like, we really don't.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's the tipping point of, like, you know, karmically, like, the work that we've been encouraging for the last few months, and I know people that we've been doing it for years, and I fucking get it, but, you know, this is, like, the home stretch.
Yeah.
And it's because...
That's what it feels like.
Because, like, you want the blessings of Pluto going retrograde, which I know I shared that article from that girl.
Yes. And
remember that?
I resonate with that. Like, if you actually did the work, like, you might finally get
the reward. So that's, you know, we want to set people up for that and not the lower. And no one can help each other. You know, Mom couldn't do our inner work for us. We couldn't do her inner work.
Yeah.
Vice versa. You can't do it for anybody else except yourself, and that's why it's so important. I feel like with Lionsgate last year, and I've mentioned this before, we talked about new soul contracts, right? With Orcus, which I think Homie has not moved from 64. He must be a slow-ass asteroid.
In 64.
Yeah, I know. He must be a slow fucking asteroid or something.
It just makes me think of an orca whale.
I know, like slowly going, like, has made it, like,
beached.
Yeah, like,
in 64.
Yeah, like, he's beached for a while, he's not going, he's chilling for, you know, a while. Because anytime she brings it up, he's still in 64, so she brings up the soul contracts, and, yeah, it must be super slow, and it's like, you know, this last year, You can, you know, evaluate, look at your soul contract, what's changed, what's shifted. Have you noticed things? And what I feel, my opinion for this Lionsgate is like that there will be a new source of energy, like new, like, you know, like a new source to tap into. I mean, we obviously know who's like source, like mom, sure, all that, but like new ideas, new creativity.
Like, I totally feel that, and you know what's really funny is, I don't know if